This is Mark from the Tree Care Expert channel. We're here with Kevin from the Game of Trees YouTube channel. Another YouTuber here at the show. We're at the TCIA show and we're over here at the RBG booth and we're going to talk about the Dino. How are you today?
I'm doing great.
What can you tell us about this machine?
Yeah, well, the DINOlift, we've had one for 2 years now. We've got the 72. The one behind me is a 92. They're exactly the same platform, except, you know, the 92 is 20 feet taller on the vertical reach. It's 13 feet farther on the horizontal reach. So we're looking at doing the 92 in this coming year that's coming up here, because there's several times where I've thought, boy, that extra 13 feet would just be really nice. But a couple of things that they've done since we got our lift is the outriggers now are taller. So you can see this machine behind me really comes up high. And that's gives you a little bit more reach. But really what it does is on terrain, you can get a much greater offset on terrain with that higher outrigger. And so that's a big feature. The other feature that we have is a double bucket, and we find that really useful, not only just to put two guys in there, but to actually have your equipment inside the basket with you and still have room to move. And so, a little caveat of regulations is, a saw inside the bucket below a certain poundage doesn't need a lanyard, and one outside the bucket, because you're placing it in the scabbard outside the bucket, you have to have a lanyard in all circumstances. And so that's one caveat, but also just having it inside the bucket, you're not running into things as you're negotiating through a canopy. Your saw is not getting tweaked as your back is turned to it. It's inside the bucket with you and staying safe. And so we really like that feature. It's a very user-friendly control panel. You can function up to 3 controls at once. So you can be extending a boom, lowering another boom, and swinging to the right all at the same time. And you kind of figure out how to move those levers as you go. But the other thing with the DINOlift is that it really has been trouble-free as far as, different sensors going off. It wasn't that hard to kind of learn. All of these machines have multiple sensors on them. At any given time, they're flagging out here or there. It was not that big of a learning curve to kind of figure out the ins and outs of those sensors and to make things really functional for us. And the other thing is, this is to a competitive model, this is almost 2,000 pounds heavier. And now in some respects, somebody might say, well, trailering, that maybe gets me up to a bigger trailer, but that's just durability that's in there. That 2,000 pounds is translating into durability and performance. And so that's really been a plus for us. It's been a very durable machine. We're tree guys. If anything's going to get tested, it's going to get tested by tree guys. And we've had this machine for 2 years, and we put it in a covered trailer. So we kind of got the Taj Mahal of trailers, and it's been in a garage on wheels the whole time. But it looks almost brand new. It's very, very durable. The fiberglass on the body is very thick and sound. It's taken some hits and really holds up well under our kind of abusive conditions. So DINOlift is where we're at. The next one we buy is going to be a DINOlift, and Dino, I guess they call it. For 2 years I've been calling it Dino. But Dino is just a great company. The company in Finland has been awesome. They've worked with us on different aspects early on, and RBG has been great. There's now a secondary dealer under RBG out here in Minnesota. We're in Wisconsin, and so now we've got Rogers, Minnesota as a dealer, and that's probably within 4.5 hours of our shop. So it's definitely a benefit to us there, or anybody in the Midwest. But yeah, I hope I've described it well. It's a great piece of equipment, and we are super happy with it.
And you prefer this type of machine versus actual climbing and being directly in the tree?
Well, now that's a question there, because I was a competitive climber. I won the Wisconsin Championship twice, competed internationally, and so we were exclusively climbers for a long time. And I still, on Game of Trees, I'm climbing all the time, and I'm showing it. But I'll also be in the Dino, and I'll climb out of the Dino. You know, instead of moving the lift, maybe I'll jump out, scurry across the canopy, do what I have to do, and get back in the lift and go. And so it's a great lift versatility-wise that way. And as far as the wheelbase, I should talk about that a little bit. Wheels versus tracks. Where we are in Wisconsin, we've got a lot of space. You know, it's easy to take off a fence or something. We get in most places, and this has been so much more stable than a track lift that we had in the past, and also on lawns. I mean, this articulating, you know, all-wheel steer, crab steer. There's just so many configurations to move the machine around. It does not impact the lawn like a track lift does. You have to really take caution on turning a track lift. This just turns and you hardly see the difference. And they do have a turf tire option. This is a tread tire, which we have, and this is even really friendly on lawns. It's 81 inches wide. Our trailer is 83 between the wheels, so we fit it right on there. And you know, you get one section of fence out, you can get it through a fence if it doesn't have a big gate. So that hasn't been a feature. And with the 92 and a 52-foot side reach, you can be in front of the garage and take down a tree on the backside of the garage. So the 92 we're looking forward to for sure for that measure alone. And it's got power, 56 horsepower. So it goes up that trailer. You know, a lot of these machines, you know, you always got to get a running start and put your trailer downhill and try to get her on the trailer. This thing just grunts and goes right up. You can put it, you can lock the differentials and have all-wheel drive and go right up the trailer. So we have never had a problem getting it on our trailer.
Well, thank you very much. That's,
you bet.
Gives us a good overall of the Dino, I guess we'll say. I mispronounced it myself, calling it a Dino. So, but either way, it's a great machine, whichever way you want to call it. But again, this is Kevin here. We're here in the RBG booth at TCIA, and it's Kevin from Game of Trees.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.